Hi, thank you for joining us. I am your host and host Rehan Haq from AIRG. A very good afternoon to all my dear friends, colleagues, and members of the All India Retail Group. I welcome you all to the chapter 4 of the webinar series on AIRG platform. The chapter 4 is powered by PKS India. Thank you, Zafar and Akash, for putting this together. I welcome our esteemed panel members and thank them for their time. But before I begin, a small word on AIRG. AIRG is a non-profitable registered organization which is working towards the overall development of retail and real estate in India. AIRG is working to contribute to the growth of modern retail in India, to promote, enhance, encourage, develop, facilitate, and support retailers as well as developers to reorganize, modernize, and adopt best practices. Founded by a few retail professionals in the year 2015 with the purpose of connecting retail professionals on a single platform across the country to exchange ideas and build a knowledge sharing platform. AIRG has come a long way in the last 4 years. We are one of the largest professional network in the country on social media, and we continue to grow. I thank you all for being part of this journey so far, and I request you all to continue your patronage with AIRG and keep contributing to this wonderful organization. A word on the sponsors before we begin. PKS India is an Indian railway catering company and has been operating since 1981. PKS is operating fine dines, QSRs, CDRs, versions across the country. Pop and Hop will be targeting travel destinations and high streets. One for all food destination concept which brings wide array of culinary delights to today's travelers. With first branch already open in Chennai and the second one going live in Delhi, Pop and Hop will also be planning to open in Bangalore, Trichy, Kochi this year. We are on the threshold of season 4 of the lockdown. Some markets have opened and we anticipate more relaxation on its way in the season 4. We thought it might be pertinent at this stage to talk about the adjustments and the innovations that will come into play. Will the developers and retailers have to improvise and eventually metamorphose? Will it be a long-term shift or will it be a short-term diversion? I would like to introduce the moderator for the panel today, who's going to take the conversations further. It's our pleasure to introduce Mr. Amin Ali. Amin Ali has been working with the Times of India for over 13 years and is a seasoned journalist who is also a critic for Times Food and Nightlife Awards. Amin feels passionately about the industry and constantly advocates liberal food and beverages policies and firmly believes that India has the potential to be the culinary and the cultural powerhouse of the world. It's a privilege to have him here on the forum to moderate this panel. Amin, over to you. Welcome and take charge, please.
Thank you, Rehan, for such kind words. And yes, as we enter phase 4 of lockdown, it is now. It's glad to have all the panelists here who are from an industry which was the first to close and will be the last to reopen. You are the guys who support and employ, are one of the largest supporters and employers in the country. And it is important to get your point here. We welcome everyone. And as we have all started now realizing that coronavirus is here to stay and we have no option but to live with it and get on with our lives. That would mean several changes to our lifestyles: social distancing, hygiene, fear of contact, and crowded places will become the new norm. That impacts F&B the most. Most of you would agree. We are here to discuss if it is just a temporary shift, or is it a platonic shift, or we are just undergoing an interim detour. Our experts here, it's always a pleasure to listen to all of them. I'll introduce them as I see them on the screen in no particular order. Sriram Monga. Sriram is the co-founder and principal consultant at SRED. He has over 15 years of experience and is widely acknowledged with revolutionizing the sector with his visionary outlook and in-depth knowledge of retail, F&B, and real estate industry. We have Akash with us. Akash Srivastava is a seasoned retail and hospitality professional with 11 years of experience with brands like KFC, Starbucks, and he ably led the expansion of Chios and is currently strategizing and spearheading the business development for Jubilant Foodworks. Akash is an alumni advisor with Birla Institute of Management, BIMTech, for their academic advisory committee and voluntarily contributes for the National Skill Development Council of India. We have Miraz Ibrahim with us. He's the managing director of TKS India, Indian Railway catering company since 1981. He has joined the restaurant and catering business in Gulf Kingdom of Bahrain in 2010 after graduation and expanded it to Qatar and UAE. After he joined TKS India in 2017, diversified the business into fine dining restaurants, QSR and CDR versions, different cuisines, along with Food Hubs project Pop and Hop in travel destinations and high streets, a one-for-all food destination concept, which today brings a wide array of culinary delights to travelers. With first branch open already in Chennai and second to be opened in Delhi, and he's planning to open in Bangalore, Trichy, Cochin this year. Umesh Agarwal, the brand needs no introduction. He's the promoter for Haldirams, did post-graduation from SP Jain Institute, Bombay, and have been working with the company for past 16 years. It is important to assert and highlight that Umesh has been instrumental in getting the brand to its modern avatar. Sagar Daryani serves as CEO and co-founder of Wow Momos Private Limited. Headquartered in Kolkata, today Wow Momos is a chain of fast food restaurants specializing in different varieties of momos. The initial stores were kiosks inside hypermarkets of Big Bazaar and Spencer's in Kolkata, which paved a way of opening food outlets in malls, tech parks, and other commercial locations. Wow Momo has expanded from Kolkata to Mumbai, Delhi, Noida, Gurgaon, Bangalore, Chennai, Lucknow, Kochi, Bhubaneswar, Cuttack, Puri, and Kanpur. Currently, Wow Momo produces over 2 lakh pieces of momos per day. The brand under his leadership aspires to be the McDonald's of India and aims to become one of the world's fastest growing QSR chains. With us, we have, thank you so much for your time, Anurag Katriyar, President NRAI and Executive Director and CEO Digustibus Hospitality. AK, as we all call him, has been pivotal in the growth and success of Digustibus Hospitality Private Limited. He joined the company in January 2004 when Indigo Colaba was the only operating restaurant within the company. Today, where he is the Executive Director and CEO, it is one of the fastest growing hospitality companies with ever so popular brands under the wing. Anurag continues to be excited about being in the food industry, and he believes that eating out will never go out of style. That is exactly the point I would want to start the discussion with, and with you, Anurag. Eating out will never go out of style. But how will the F&B industry improvise? What will be the post-COVID-19 dining formats?
I think, thank you first of all for having me here. I think first and foremost, I think there'll be a period when you will have to win back the confidence of your consumers by telling them not that you sell the best food or you have the most beautiful location, by telling them that you are the safest destination to come to and you are very compliant on these things, on everything which is to do with health and food safety. Because let's understand, I mean, things keep changing. And today the scenario is after COVID-19, world is not going to be the same ever again. So what do we do? I mean, it'll be a slew of confidence building measures in my view. No one single solution can solve things for you, because please understand, you are end of the day, you are in a business where people do come together. And when they come together, there are several touch points, and these are common touch points.
Absolutely.
You can't avoid it. As somebody said, we need to learn to live with the COVID. And probably that's what we need to do. And I think a couple of things that comes to my mind, other than the obvious, where I think the wearing a mask or wearing a gloves is just normal now. I don't think it counts for any new measures per se. But, you know, for example, things like doing block testing for COVID for all your employees and putting it out at the entrance of your restaurant. You know, it not only gives you that confidence that, you know, I have the right people within my premises, it also tells the consumers This restaurant has nothing to hide. End of the day, the objective is to build on the confidence of the consumers. One of the biggest aspect that I see, which will change in the post-COVID era, if we may call them, is
Mm-hmm.
how we handle all our ingredients.
Yes.
Look at the way we deal with food at home today. A packet of milk or a packet of bread is cleaned, washed, and whatnot before it is put to use. That itself is like very stressful at home. And now understand, with thousands of SKUs entering a kitchen, a commercial kitchen, going through multiple hands, we will have to come up with a solution, perhaps a department which looks after this aspect completely. And last but not the least, I think, people have been talking a lot about this thing called contactless dining.
Mm-hmm.
I think first of all, it's the worst word that could have ever been coined. You can't have dining which is contactless. I don't want to use the examples I used on a couple of occasions. I almost feel like, it's like having a butter chicken without chicken when you say contactless dining. There's nothing like that. So, we have to ensure that whatever we can do to make sure that consumers don't have unnecessary touch points will help. You will need to have a protocol for turnover of tables. But at the same time, if you can allow them to do digital ordering by a QR code, which they can scan on their own mobile devices, there is nothing wrong with it. End of the day, he's not going to punch everything out of here. But it gives him that confidence that, okay, here is a menu, which is not something printed in black on a piece of paper, but this is something which is digitally generated on a device that is purely my own. And you know what, quote unquote, I can't blame anybody if something goes wrong with this damn phone. So he can still talk to the waiters and say, what does this mean? What goes well with it? So on and so forth. So these are, few of the things. And a lot will depend on, what is the situation when we actually see the end of the lockdown. So lots of unknown variables are there. But on the evidence of what we know today, these are the minimum confidence building measures that we will require in that post-COVID era. But yes, eating out will still remain in fashion.
Okay, lovely. That's glad to hear. You can watch all this on YouTube and Facebook as well, on our official channels. I'll come to you, Akash. Jubilant Food Works. This is actually just the moment that you were you waiting for, that contactless delivery. You order, the food comes to you. Does pandemic offer you that kind of opportunity? And do you think Domino's strength in delivery is right now your biggest strength in an era where Anurag is confident of dining in being in vogue, but it may be muted for next few months?
So coming from a brand which has always been part of your small moment of delight. So when you had a good exam, you'd go to a Domino's. When you want to date your girlfriend, you go to a Domino's. When you had some small memory that you really want to encapsulate, you go to a Domino's. I think for us, we have not just been like the ad that we had once, Khushiyon Ki home delivery. We also signify a large amount of revenue that we generate via dine-in business as well. People want to go to Domino's and eat their own pizza. They want to share those moments with their family and not just have it at home alone.
Okay.
I don't think this is going to be our opportunity only, given the fact that a good percentage of revenue was dine-in, which has been muted for almost the entire country now that the dine-in is shut. People would start believing in things like trust and brands that are local or global, but they stand for great quality. A brand that you can take your kids out for, even a 10-year-old kid should feel safe about it. Our entire brand journey has been not just on serving delicious pizzas, but also on the way we serve it. Like you said, we are one of those first company in the country who started contactless dining and delivery, not dining, and we were able to serve it at your places. The people who work at our stores are thoroughly checked every day, temperature checks, all those mandatory government checks that you would see in the papers are being already done by Domino's. Our delivery people use gloves. We don't use our hands for pizzas. We have gloves for it. We have masks. And you would have, I'm sure, none of the panelists would have not ordered Domino's in those first 45, 50 days of the lockdown. I'm sure it would have been a delight for all of us. So we stand for quality, we stand for trust, and I think it will be a moment where people would try and order food from restaurants and from places whom they feel are safe. Sagar wanted to add something while having
Sagar,
No, I said I ordered Domino's.
Yes.
He's ordered Domino's.
I am giving dhanda to my fraternity, and I hope they do the same with me.
Exactly. So I have ordered Wow Momo because I knew if I have to eat momos, I can trust on Sagar, and I know, and I've been to the kitchen, so I know the kind of safety measures. I think they got testing times, and we as an industry should come together and make sure that our own people, our own fraternity, friends, and family actually order food from safe destinations. So it would be a tectonic shift from very, very local restaurants who are not serving and were not very fuzzy about hygiene. Be it Indian or global, who stand for safety. Yes.
Okay. Yeah, Sagar. Wow Momos. What's the way forward?
See, I think our fraternity has always been known for health, hygiene, happiness, right? So I think that's always been a priority, whether it was pre-COVID, whether it's during lockdown or post-lockdown, right? I think what's happened is that the consumer awareness is going to get enhanced, and as a brand we are following all the measures that Akash mentioned. But what's going to happen is that our business models are going to change for sure in the short run, maybe even in the long run. And if our business model changes, the business model of landlords have to change. The business model of food aggregators have to change. I hope the landlords, the mall developers are listening. I hope Sriram is listening. He does leases for so many malls, so rentals are going to come down. But yeah, I think you'll see a lot of surveillance happening around health, around hygiene. So I remember Anurag mentioning this in one of the talks, and I'll pick it up from there, that जब हमारा terror strike हुआ था Bombay में, तो outside restaurants, outside hotels, you would see people standing with a metal detector. You will now see people standing with the thermometer, checking you कि temperature है कि नहीं, या फिर आपको घुसने देंगे. You will see a lot of social distancing happening within restaurants, for the short run, where maybe an 80-cover restaurant will become a 40-cover restaurant. You will see some social distancing happening in the kitchen, where a 15 crew kitchen might become a 10-member crew kitchen. So that will also have limitation of menu. You'll have a more compact menu, right? But more importantly, I personally feel that delivery is the new now. No doubt about it. Everyone is hoping that delivery is going to replace dining in for some time to come, and that's what Anurag and Akash respectively mentioned. But I think pre-order and takeaway is going to be the new now also. That's going to largely also have an impact on how people operate, because हमारे इंडिया में ना जो दिखता है वो बिकता है. We believe in seeing what we see. You will have a lot of people pre-ordering, coming to your restaurant, looking at the hygiene, taking it themselves, rather than depending on a Swiggy or a Zomato or depending on a delivery boy from any of the brands. And I think once that pre-order delivery experience is good, and they within themselves they feel satisfied that ये restaurant hygiene maintain कर रहा है, that's when you see your delivery offtake happening. That will be phase 2. Because after we all know, when the lockdown started, delivery business was at its brisk. Once there was an issue of a pizza delivery guy getting caught with virus in Delhi, the entire markets crashed for all of us, right? But we have to, and I think the media blew it out of proportion. But we have to understand one thing, that there are a lot of people who actually depend on outside food. There are a lot of bachelors who cannot cook. There are a lot of people who live in guest houses, paying guests, who are there stuck in this lockdown. So we are actually providing an essential service. Actually, our delivery riders are risking their lives going out there. Our own crew members are coming to the stores, opening the stores. There are millions and millions of orders being delivered during the lockdown, right? Now, जो बंदे को virus हुआ है, वो भी तो human being है यार, उसको भी तो होगा ही, मतलब किसी न किसी को तो होगा ही. I think we have to now accept this as the new now, that this virus is here to stay. Honestly, if you ask me, I'll be very vocal here. Like Modi ji said, local has to go vocal. I will be very vocal here. I feel that we cannot have a lockdown extended and affecting the livelihood and the lives and the economy in such a drastic manner, because see, there are 2.5 million people who are your daily wage earners. Who are these guys? These are the guys who are your dishwashers in restaurants. These are the guys who are your stewards, your delivery riders. Now, you cannot risk so many lives for a few lakhs of people who might be affected by this virus, right? It's very good to take precaution. I think we've done that. We've had a share of lockdown. Up to 3.0 was good. The 4th season, I think is an elongated extension. I think we need more clarity coming in from the center. But honestly, if you ask me, I think the youth of the country, the young, have to come forward. They have to run the economy. The ones who are vulnerable, the ones who are elderly, need to stay at home, need to take care of themselves. But we need to fight this out now, because the amount of livelihood that we'll be taking, the amount of jobs that's gone back. We all have gone back by 3 to 4 years. and this is not good for the economy,
True, true. And
it's going to lead to a civil war if it doesn't stop.
Absolutely. And sorry, I'm interrupting you. We've spoken of various concepts that contactless dining, focus on hygiene, social distancing in kitchen. I am very keen to know, how does all of this translate into what's going to happen at Haldiram's? How will we see all of this being implemented at Haldiram's, and what are Haldiram's plans for the future? That is essentially the family outlet where we all throng to. Umesh?
I think
we lost him.
Yeah. So I'll come to Miraz. The other important question that all of us have in mind is,
Umesh is back, by the way.
Yeah.
Oh, great. We've got Umesh back. Umesh, we were hearing all the concepts of social distancing in the restaurant, in the kitchen, not going out with a gang of family and friends, quick service. How will all of this translate at Haldiram's? Please tell us that scenario post-COVID. How will Haldiram come up with solutions?
Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for having me on this platform, first of all. It's lovely to have it here. And thank you so much for throwing the question to me. Honestly, if I have to, conclude, I really agree with Anurag that the dine-in and the restaurant is supposed to be in fashion, and it will always be in fashion. So, for us, why exactly we feel that it is going to be a interim detour is because, we were the first one to start the street food in a more hygienic manner and, giving in a more hygienic environment in our outlets. So what we feel is that people are going to be more proactive regarding the same, regarding the hygiene standards that they want to see proactively displayed on the restaurant as well. But at the same time, restaurant cooking and these things are such that these cannot be done at a very rigorous social distancing. So we have to take precautions at the same time maintaining social distancing, that is probably using gloves, mask, and face shields as well, and probably, giving the same confidence or a tour or everything to the customers as well going forward.
Mm-hmm.
So what I feel is that Haldiram is well prepared and well versed regarding the entire thing for the future. And honestly, I feel that being an interim detour right now, I have seen, a major contribution of Zomato and Swiggy going up currently for the deliveries. But at the same time, it's very promising that the 70% of the current sales also is coming by the people who are walking into the restaurants.
Okay.
Who prefer to
very
go
nice.
and not touch anything, pick up everything with their own hands, and then go back to their house being more satisfied with it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Which is very promising. I think 70% is something that gives you a strength to keep going.
Yeah, very
keep
nice to
fighting
listen
in the
to
future
hear
as
that.
well.
Mm.
Yeah, so and I was recently going through the same figures as well, and that is what is going to be the base for the future. See, dine-in and people's coming and sitting might take 3 to 4 months to correct. But, once the lockdown improves a lot, people are bound to come to your restaurants, probably not to sit, but to pick up and take it on their own and enjoy the delicacies that we all offer as a fraternity. And I'm hopeful that the entire interim detour is only for short term, for 6 months maximum, and then we will rebound like nothing, and I'll be crazy rebound for the fraternity.
Yeah, that's exactly what all of us hope, that it's just an interim detour. But Miraz, no big gatherings allowed. The concept of catering has totally changed. How you serve food, how you prepare it, where you serve it. Take us through what has changed for you, and what will change when things are back to normal. Miraz, you'll have to unmute yourself.
Hello,
Yeah.
hi.
Yeah, hi.
So thank you for having me here. So yeah, so since I'm into Indian Railways, mainly our operation is happening in Indian Railways.
Mm-hmm.
And during this lockdown period, yes, of course, like any other industry, we also have zero business as of now because everything is shut at this moment. So we are basically looking after for our employees, their survivors, their families, and also we are participating in the distribution meets. What we are doing through IRCTC is having a meal distribution run going on for the needy. So we are also, all our kitchen is participated on it as of now. So when it comes to social distancing and taking the measures by government or railways, yes, of course, there will be a business drop. At least if I can talk about railway in our segment, I'm sure for the dining sale, there will be like, 30 to 40% or 50%, at least we can say there is a drop in dining sale, but which will definitely recover as soon as it is got lifted, because our area is where most of the people want to travel. As soon as it got finished, they want to travel, they want to move to their places, they want to go back to their family. So people are reliable or depending on these segments like flights, trains, or main public transports. So what we are hoping that this will increase, where we have to hit on that to supply we have two models basically. One is like supplying to the trains, another one is to the supplying to the walk-in passengers. So where we are more looking forward to like takeaways and delivering to the seats of the passengers wherever they are traveling in this train. That is where we are probably looking at. But yes, until the social distancing measures are lifting up, there will be a sale drop for sure.
Okay, Sriram, you've heard everybody. You've heard all the points. What is expected? What are things going to be how are things going to be shaping up? What do you tell the mall owners and restaurants? What are the concepts that you have in mind that you're going to be coming up with? Unmute, Sriram. You'll have to unmute yourself.
Thank you, ARG, for having me on the panel today. Thank you for the question. I think there's a lot of improvisations which would come in play, which were experimented on in a larger situation for formats. I feel that the drive-throughs and the drive-ins will become a prevalent feature in the intercity scenario, where food court, where the beverages and the formats, which F&B formats, which probably come in from give you a larger flexibility in terms of getting the food served in the cars of the consumers. There would be a social distance which has already been maintained. There is contactless food service which can be done. I think there would be in the future trend, there would be a lot of family drives in the shorter run, which will start. Probably people would go out, use these drive-thrus, and come back, have a good time in the car, enjoy the ride, and give the family a break from going out on a community place or a shopping center, which is like just after the lockdown gets over. Also, I feel this gives a large flexibility from a delivery point, from a business point of view, from the formats which would probably experiment into the drive-thrus and the drive-ins. I think Sagar has experimented a couple of them. I see one at the Manesar food court. I don't know how it's doing right now, but I think that would probably make sure that they lead way for other brands to follow this trend and create that secondary pause for people who would be, right now in a little bit of a fright situation.
Okay. And coming to Miraz, very important point that Sriram pointed out. What is the kind of change in the food court will you see going forward? I mean, that is another big section, and operating food courts at places like railway stations. I mean, please take us through that. What do we expect to happen there?
All right. So when you talk about travel retail segment, like railway station, where the most people, as Sriram mentioned, basically we will be like taking so many measures as a hygiene part, and all this developing your skills for the laborers and giving trainings to the people. all these things. And same time, we will also look forward to have the sales increasement in takeaways. And as Sriram mentioned, like, drive-throughs and maximum deliveries to the cars and trains through online platforms and different various aggregators as well to improve the sales around. And there is, like, need an investment for all the segment on trainings for all the staffs, and sanitization and automations is, like, to provide the best hygiene practice at all levels, and tie up with platforms again for the contactless delivery, where Anurag sir also was mentioning. It is like not only dining, there is a contactless delivery also, like, we need to looking into.
Okay. Shriram, adding to this, I mean,
I think from a food court perspective, I think a lot of
customer experience, design, food ordering.
Yeah, I think it's going to have a lot of improvisation which we need to do in our current scheme of things in our plans. While we need to ensure there is enough safety and sustainability of the business in the shorter run, and the consumer behavior, the consumer is very comfortable in looking at ordering and taking the food. It is very important for creating that kind of awareness. I think a centralized billing system might take a mobile billing system will take the place of a centralized billing system. QR code scanning will become much more prevalent in terms of ordering food. There would be, I mean, table booking service, which would be very prevalent in the shorter run, where people would book a table and then come in, which would take care of the social distancing and as well as overcrowding of the place. I think technology will make a lot of technology has to be implemented in a larger way in putting the whole thing together. Instead of the conventional ways of looking at the business earlier. We might have to look at rearranging our interiors. We might have to look at using no-touch materials within the space, so that the touch is restricted to certain elements which can be sanitized very quickly and can be reused. Table turnaround has to be relooked at. Sanitization will start from the beginning of the food court experience. You'll find sanitizers on the table. You'll find antibacterial wipes on the tables. People would like to clean their tables themselves and sit to have that self-confidence in place, and understanding that the whole thing is hygienic. I feel there is on the back of the house side, there is, in the shorter run, there would be social distancing, which would be practiced in the kitchen. So limited menus, which would come in. I think we also need to optimize those menus so that within the limited working hours, where the authorities would give in the time of operations, probably there would be only one meal time which would come in, like a lunch time. And the brands need to optimize their menus in a all-day dining format, so that the food which comes in, it can be edible throughout the day. So I think there would be a lot of optimization from the perspective of the operator, as well as the brand, as well as in the kitchen, the way we run the food court, so that we keep cost efficient and beat these times.
And all these points that Shriram has mentioned, how does our favorite food court, the Haldiram, how do they implement it? How do they go about doing this? Or are there certain other ideas like menu curtailment Shriram has spoken of, changes in like focus on takeaways, focus on deliveries? What are your strategies of post-COVID?
So, I mean, currently what we had planned during the lockdown as well was that we have curtailed the menu to 70% of the items only, which contributed 90% of the sales. So, and we have seen decent numbers prevailing in the same. So, I mean, honestly, going forward also, till the time the entire situation normalizes, I think we will continue with the same menu going forward as well. And at the same time, I mean, what we did during lockdown and earlier before lockdown as well was, see, in India, people have a habit to learn everything very hard. I mean, they have to be given it to, very hardly to them. I think from the past 4 years, 5 years down the line, we have been looking into Swachh Bharat being driven. And, suddenly I remember in the month of February, I was standing in my outlet and the COVID-19 fear was starting and people were being told to use sanitizer. So I was standing and one of the customer comes and before touching anything, he's using a sanitizer and after touching, he's using a sanitizer. So 4 years of Swachh Bharat did not do that, but COVID-19 was able to do that in a span of 15 days. So, our responsibility as a restaurant, as a fraternity is that we need to educate people what exactly needs to be done. See, people are listening to things which are, very limited and in certain information and in categories. So they have to be given all the education in a proper way. Let's say somebody walking into a restaurant, he should be told what exactly he needs to do to maintain the hygiene and ensure that everything, the food which he is having, is consuming is safe for him to have. It might be giving him a sanitizer, a 1 ml sanitizer while, before having the food. It might be a possibility that, suggested by Sriram, that he's been given a wipe to clean the table or something before touching it, or the QR code. So, but ultimate goal is to educate them to use it to their benefit rather than getting into the entire limbo that this is not workable for me. This is a tedious job that I have to do for dine out, and ultimately get disconnected with the idea.
Okay.
So they,
all right. Nice thoughts put together. Sagar, earlier what was a hobby has now become a habit. People are cooking at home as a habit now. And in that, the most common thing being posted online are momos that people have made at home. How does Wow Momos go from here? And all the pictures they have posted of homemade momos, they've said, wow, what momos we made at home. So tell us, how do you approach it from there?
When we began Wow Momo, our aim was that, when people think of Momo, they should say wow. When you think of pizzas, you say Domino's, right? So I think, it just gives us a new business idea, a new business line. I personally see that adversity calls for a lot of diversity. It calls for being resilient. It calls for innovating, experimenting. You might make mistakes. You might learn from them. But honestly, if you ask me, we launched this new segment called Wow Momo Essentials. I'll tell you why we launched it, and I'll come to that. When you would order through a big basket or through a Grofers, it would take you 2 days to get grocery and essentials, right? You would get slots after 1 or 2 days. यहाँ पे हम कर रहे हैं real time food delivery through Swiggy and Zomato, where you get your food delivered within 30 to 45 minutes. Now, we felt that, if someone wants a bread or an egg, how can we make that real time? And that's how we approached Swiggy and we started Wow Momo Essentials. And today we are selling atta, we are selling bread, egg, milk, we are selling sanitary pads, we are selling condoms, we are selling all essential products, right? And it's become a new line of business for us. And it's doing phenomenally well. It's currently 30% of our current revenue.
Okay.
Now, new business line that we extended to, right? Similarly, when people are making momos at home, imagine having a do-it-yourself kit of momos or a do-it-yourself kit of biryani. So that could just become a new business line going forward, right? So, like I said, all these tough times are challenging times. I think you have to take out your opportunity and make that your mantra for success. I think that's what entrepreneurship is about. That's what our industry and fraternity is about. We are people who are very resilient. We are people who are, we are very quick to, change with the times. And honestly, our industry has been very badly affected for the last 1.5 years. GST input was taken away from us. We did not see the best of winters. And you saw one of the worst Januaries and Februaries, and then this entire Corona and COVID comes in. So I think we have been struggling, and we all have to. I think this entire lockdown that we had, I think most of us have gone back, introspected. We have gone back to our basics, and we all are planning to bounce back with a 2.0. Within us, we are looking at a Wow 2.0 to come back with. So yeah, you will see a lot of innovation happening. You will see a lot of business models changing, like I mentioned, and these innovations will maybe create a new business line for you. It might be successful, might be a failure. If it is a failure, you have to learn from your mistakes and move on. We are very. I think we have a great team. We have backing of our investors, and we'll see how it goes. But tough times ahead for our industry, for a fraternity. You might not see many of your favorite or best restaurants opening up. Some of them have sent people out. So these are bad. And let's see how we shape up. Let's keep fingers crossed. Let's hope the vaccine comes in sooner than later.
Akash, coming to you, Sagar raised this point of new ideas, new innovations coming. I mean, the reason I come to you is because Jubilant is doing this. This entire idea of space sharing, delivery sharing services. You partnered with ITC and other players to be able to send out grocery that's needed, or essentials, if we would call it. So not just space sharing, but delivery sharing going forward. Brands that we trust, deliveries that we trust, tying up together to give us confidence.
So yeah, I think for us as an organization, and I would recall this incident of the very infamous or famous Mumbai range, when the entire aggregator platforms would be shut, and Anurag or Sagar might relate to it. It would be Domino's who would be still giving you your favorite pizza. I think that is the commitment level that we as an organization have for our patrons, our customers, that we are there for you. Come what may, during the most difficult of the time, we would make sure that food, which is an essential to you, is delivered at your doorstep. So imagine a family who works for a husband or wife who've got nobody and no help at home now, and they have to work from morning 9:30 to 7:30. Would you ever think that the lady would have time to make a lunch at home? No. What will she do? She'll order Domino's. It's your finger food. You can have it during your working lunch. You can have it during this webinar as well, and nobody would even get to know. Your fingers won't get messier. On the other hand, the way we
Where's it? We are not having any of Domino's in this webinar.
Yeah,
I'm having just water, man. For heaven's sake.
That's not done, yeah.
I agree. So I think next time we'll have it. We'll surely have some momos and some.
I can show you. I can have momos right now. I'm sitting in my outlet. I can show it to you guys and have it.
No, all of us should have had. No individual feast.
At the moment, I'm happy with Red Bull. I think I'm just building my immunity.
So I mean, we actually had this thing where we had a Domino's party at home. So we celebrated those moments where a lot of companies participated while they were working at home. Some of the other meeting that they had, the other engagement that they had with their employees, and the time they were able to celebrate a good moment during the lockdown was over a pizza that they ordered from Domino's. Got a lot of photograph suggestions that people have related. Back to the way we are pivoting around the current scenario, we also started delivering essential. In fact, we were one of the first people who started doing it. We tied up with ITC, and then the recent one is with the Tata Group, where we are doing Tata Consumer Limited tie-ups. The whole idea is not to just make money, but also to be able to address an audience who doesn't have a lot of options of getting the basic needs at home. It's not just pizza. It's been over 2 decades that we've been delivering. So we are known for deliveries. So when the need came, why not deliver the most basic thing that you as your as a household would need? So I think that's the whole idea behind it. On the way we can maximize it, I think it is the right time to redefine your store sizes, understand your kitchens. Are they optimized? Are they going to be delivery centric? How about carry outs? How do you ensure your restaurants are able to build that infrastructure? If you have additional space, do you really want to have it? All of it. How do you make sure that your restaurant is more inviting given the new challenging norms that we have in place? How do you sweat your assets more?
Yeah.
Nobody wants to pay very at any point in time. So you have to make sure you come up with a lot of tie-ups, collaborations among people, among brands, so that you are able to survive the tide. And if they work for you, you may want to carry it forward.
Lovely. Anurag, you've heard all the points. You've heard everyone what they plan to do, what are their ideas for future. You and I spoke last time, and every time you said that as of now, whatever plans we have in place are at best educated guesses.
Exactly.
I mean, I want to understand from you. I mean, you've heard all of them, but how will you reinstate faith in the safety of your outlet and bring me back for a memorable experience? What will you do for that confidence here after hearing all of them? Like, what do you foresee?
So I spoke about a few things right at the beginning of this webinar about those block COVID tests, or looking at ingress and egress of every men and material. And beyond that, honestly, it's going to be starting with the guidelines that your local health authorities, FSSAI and WHO prescribe. Honestly, that will become the guideline, and we are waiting for that. Beyond that, I think there'll be a lot of thing about which brand occupies a better confidence levels in the minds of the consumers. They will have a better chance to come back. even in delivery. We were
True.
talking deliveries and all. I very strongly believe that brands who have a better brand equity, quote unquote, or reputation, credibility in the minds of the consumers will stand in a better position than those unknown dark kitchens who probably operate out of somewhere, behind the beyond, unknown
True.
types. Because think about it as a consumer. I want to have a pizza. I have a chance to order from Domino's, which may cost me, let's say, $600 for a pizza. And I have another, Uncle Sam's Pizza in my neighborhood, completely unknown, probably giving it for 500 or 400 for that matter. What will I do? I will go with Domino's because it stands for something. And
True.
this is where I feel a huge paradigm shift will happen. I will also like to go back a couple things on the food court that you were talking. Guys, one of the most important things that you need to do with restricted number of people in the food court at a point of time, you will need to ensure that the turnover of tables is far quicker, because your number of operating hours will go down, number of covers will go down. You will die if you don't do that turnaround quickly, which means you will need to have security or bouncers to tell all those coochie-cooing couples that, "Buddy, go back home now. You can't be sitting here. I have somebody else to feed and feed food." So there are things like this. I really don't know. I mean, if I can tell you once again, like point 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. As I said, there'll be like plethora of measures that you will need to undertake to make sure that consumer feels happy coming there. And it will not be only around technology. It will not be around technology alone. Let us not mistake ourselves. Technology can augment the experience of a consumer, but it cannot be the sole criteria for judging how safe the place is. Let's not mistake ourselves. When somebody says I can have a camera in my kitchen, I'm sorry, that doesn't tell me anything.
Yes.
It doesn't tell me anything. I'm not really
very
there.
Well put. Yes.
It tells me nothing. But I'd rather be happy when I see that, everybody working in this kitchen is kosher. That gives me more confidence. I know, it is very simple. There are certain brands that give me confidence, and I will rather go there. It was your favorite so far because you loved what they served. It'll be your favorite now because you know they are safe for you and your family. Another point which is very, very important here, Amin, is please remember, in India, eating out is not purely about topping your tummy. Let's not mistake ourselves. It's a social occasion.
Yes.
We go out to celebrate, whether it is with the family, whether it is with friends or colleagues. It's not with that, like in Hong Kong or in Singapore, where people eat out 28 times in a month. They go out because they don't cook at home. That's not the case with us. So when it's a social occasion, the chances of turnaround in the mindsets of the people will be far better.
Okay.
It'll be an occasion to celebrate, and perhaps going to a theater, watching a movie, and going out for a meal are the cheapest forms of mass entertainment in India.
Absolutely. Umesh, in your experience, last 50 days, you've noticed any new categories like ready to eat business maybe doing well for Haldiram's, or you think that the existing model continues, stays strong post lockdown?
No, I mean, I think in the past 50 days, we have actually, seen a change and shift into the expectations of the people, consumer. Like you said, that frozen food and ready to eat has been widely more acceptable compared to fresh food right now, because they feel that they don't have to go again and again out to pick up the essentials and everything. But at the same time, see, I mean, I think as a fraternity, we as a whole restaurant food hub, we have all types of consumer who have all type of preferences. See, as if I individually, I talk about myself. So I would only prefer to, like rightly said by Anurag as well, that I would prefer to go to the restaurant which I have ordered from initially to begin with. I would not go to, any other restaurant where I have not risk ordering as well. So I would prefer to order from a more organized sector compared to an unorganized sector, which might consist of the players which have already, built up that confidence with the consumers. But at the same time, now I think because of the lockdown and the lockdown been extended, India is in the idea of converting themselves in terms of eating habits. So for India, frozen food was very alien.
Yeah.
So I mean, for America and for all they are accepted, and they know that frozen food is the only food that they can have. So for India, frozen food is stale food. But now I think because of lockdown and they being cooking themselves and preserving everything that they can use and eat and not waste and not dispose of everything. So now frozen food might have a better acceptability in the going future for India as well, which might change a lot of eating habits for nuclear families, individual families who are only completely working day and day.
Okay. And Meraz, travel retail business, I mean, that changes a lot. You touched upon it briefly, but tell me, like, how does it change for you? And tell me, with the focus on new things that you are coming up with, how will you implement those at your new food courts, and which all places will you be doing those at?
Yes. So when we talk about railway again, with Indian Railways, we have first of all we have an e-catering app facility with railways, and we listed in all our outlets is listed in e-catering applications, and we'll be tying up with the local platforms, and like brands like Domino's, Haldiram's, yes, they are coming in our Delhi outlets. So they are already well known with the local people, and all the platforms, they have enough customer base in all the platforms. Looking forward, we are looking forward more delivery and takeaway businesses in our food apps as of now. And we are also coming up with our own apps, which will be working with IRCTC as well as an aggregator with IRCTC, which all the passengers can order through our app, where all these national and international brands will be presented in that app. So that is one point of sight we can increase, sale through this kind of platforms. And basically our concept also is providing the dining and takeaway experience. So dining experience, as we discussed, as of now, all these safety measures need to be taken with, from starting with the sanitizers in the entrance. So there will be a small lack of sales happening in the dining area, but more on takeaways and deliveries, yes, we will be definitely able to perform on a better ways.
Okay. And Sagar, going forward, new cuisines in mind, you think those will do well? Innovations on existing ones going forward, right atop your mind?
Definitely a lot of innovations in the existing menu. We all have almost been at home for 50 days. मैंने माँ के हाथ का खाना बहुत खाया है, घर का खाना बहुत खाया है. So I think I have got back to the taste buds of Indian food, of घर का खाना. So you'll see a lot of Indianization of food happening going forward, which is good for our industry. You will also see a lot of people who have got bored cooking themselves and eating. So I hope that they, when they come out, they want to try out newer cuisines. So a lot of experiments with newer cuisines will also increase. So हमारे industry के लिए, as long as people come out and get to that table or do a takeaway or a delivery, as long as they are, whether it's Indianization of food or whether it's having your own, having a new cuisine, obviously makes sense. But I think it's going to be a lot about collaboration going forward between brands. I think brands are going to collaborate. You will see a lot of collaboration happening between brand X and brand Y, and they will have a larger offering to offer. I think you'll see a lot of mergers, a lot of acquisitions also happening in this space, a lot of consolidation happening in the space, whether it is for us with our own outlets or whether it is for us going forward or for other brands going forward. You will see the future will host multiple brands together. You will see a more compact group of F&B rising, and those who can hold fort will be the winners. Like we personally believe that the mantra right now is to reduce losses to the minimum. All of us are bleeding. And I think what pains me the most is in 11 years, for the first time in the month of April, we saw losses. And being a bootstrap company, having worked really hard for the last few years, whatever we earned in the last 4 years, it seems as if this 1 year will take it away. But I think this year is, like Jack Ma said, it's about remaining alive. It's not about going after your dreams. It's about reinventing yourself and looking at the future in a more consolidated manner and trying to bounce back and follow your dreams. You have to live today to survive tomorrow, right? So that's what this year is about.
Well, well put together. That is what the year is about. Anurag had something to say to this.
No, I just wanted to ask on a lighter note to Sagar. With the kind of brand equity China is enjoying, what do you do with your brand? Wow, China.
No, so I think
Just kidding.
I think we keep it to what it is. I think Indian Chinese food is what we are known for. The live Chinese, the chatpada Chinese, and we'll stick to what it is. A lot of people have given me the suggestion कि यार wow China नाम को बदलना चाहिए कि नहीं बदलना चाहिए. But I think we'll stick to our basics, and we hope that this vaccine comes in so that China is protected, the world is protected, we all are alive.
No, in fact, the best way to get back on China is call it Wow Manchurian. Every Chinese worth his salt hates the word Manchurian.
or the other one is your Manchow. Manchow soup is actually Indian. Yeah.
Okay. Akash?
Yeah.
Trust is a big factor, and all of us seem to kind of agree that we trust Domino's more than any other pizza brand, so to speak. For momos, we'll keep it to Wow Momos. For going forward, building on trust, how do you work on that? How do you ensure that you have all my trust?
Yeah. So as I said, our stores have always been fundamentally very good when it came to the kitchen hygiene. We had set global standards of hygiene inside our kitchen long back when we started. Serving millions of pizzas annually. The important question was, how do you make sure that you are, and we were operating in over 275 cities in the country, how do you make sure you are able to adhere to your SOP and all? So it became a good question for us, and then we went online. We did a lot of training programs. We wanted to make sure that the pizza that you eat in North, in East, in West, and the South are the same in terms of quality, consistency, the training that we give to our manpower. All of it. So I think standardization was always the key ingredient in the pizza that you get at home. And with standardization came a lot of efforts from every individual at Domino's side, because it is the same Domino's pizza that employee also eats at his home when he has a birthday party of his kid. So that was in the DNA of every employee: safety, trust, and the way we would usually work on our food manners. Hand washing was very, very normal thing for us. Sanitizing the store was very normal to us. We would work in very close collaboration even then. We would make sure that we follow all the global standards. I think one good thing with this thing is you have international practices that you adhere to, because practices come from countries who have been there for very long and to know how to do it. They've been through the cycles of multiple challenges that they had. So I think with all of those things, the people were very confident of the food that we deliver to their houses are safe. And I think we don't need to reinforce that safety beyond that point. Right now, the challenge was to augment that delivery thing. Why do you still need to order at home? Why can't you simply cook at home? I think the larger question was that only, between cooking and that could be even for a momo or even at Haldiram. So people start pakodi at home. So do you want to really cook at home, or you want to order from outside? I think that was the
absolutely.
How do you make sure that you as an industry are able to create some vibe, create an environment, an amicable environment where the customers are friendly enough to order at home? So brands who have been doing well for the past years will be able to see their revenue going up during the time. There will be smaller brands which were unable to reinforce that trust, and you at times had issues with them. We'll see the door being shut for them.
Okay. Sriram, I mean, you've heard the food guys speak, really what the mall developers say. Food business, how will you pitch it to them now going forward? What is your approach going to be?
Yeah, I think in the shorter run, there would be a lot of hand-holding and a joint partnership of brand to sustain. With the limited number of footfalls coming into the mall and the limited number of people going to the food courts, how the mall developers will ensure that there is enough support given to the operators so that there is enough traffic I'm talking about from an operations point of view. There would be, I think delivery has changed a lot. The perception. A lot of food courts which were situated on the higher levels in the malls were never allowing deliveries to inside the mall. So I think those kind of taxations which would follow in. From a perspective of the kitchen, I think I agree with which has to be done in terms of the layouts of the kitchens, because the seamless open kitchens would come in for a seamless custom. Are there how the staff is preparing its food, whether
yeah, we are having slight connectivity issue with Sriram.
You can put off your video. Sriram, you can put off your video. Your audio will be clear.
Yeah.
Would come in, developers have to change the nomenclatures in terms of the kitchen design, where they are ensuring that all kitchens which kitchens are relatively open, you can see what's happening. But there are other brands with multi cuisines where the Indian cuisine or a South Indian cuisine which is coming in, where the kitchen is not seen in a larger way. So apart from that, I feel that the whole consumer experience now has to be more interactive. In the shorter run, I think the developers would and operators would invest into staff is wearing those kits and looking like looking very interesting and probably doing their job, so that there is not enough fear in the seating arrangements. I mean, there would be the music.
Okay, we are having slight connectivity issue. Anurag, if we were to put some timelines, we've spoken about everything going forward. Any timelines in mind?
Timelines for?
For the future of industry. I mean, anything in mind? Lockdown.
I mean, honestly, I honestly feel.
Anurag, so I would like to interject, ask you add to the question which Amin is asking. And there are a lot of other questions also which are coming on the panel, and I would throw it to the panel to pick up a few questions from our viewers as well. So my addition to the question which Amin is asking is that among all these discussions that we're having, is the F&B now moving towards a change in the further investment in how we're going to sit and how the restaurants are going to perform, realigning the area? Is there going to be a significant investment now which the F&B will have to make in terms of realigning the stores, the restaurants? And if it's a short-term detour, then what kind of arrangements will they? I mean, it's easy to say in terms of what the short-term changes would be, but in a long-term, how do you foresee the investments which are going to be made?
So let me answer both the questions separately. To answer your question, I mean that how long will it take? I believe, and I'm happy to be proven wrong, I believe we have already seen this current financial year going to the drains. The earliest I see the recovery happening of any significant nature, I'm not talking about any incremental, because the base is zero right now, is going to be probably the last quarter or thereafter. So that is to answer your first question. Now, coming back to the other part, let me tell you, there will be lots of capital infusion that will go into kickstarting the restaurant. There will be new social norms. Now, for example, restaurants who have like kind of fixed seating, like Indigo Delis have banquet seatings, they will all need to go to make sure that the proper distancing is maintained. We don't even know what other things are going to come. If you need to have a partition between two tables, because if I hear from what is happening in Dubai, there needs to be a 1.3 meter distance between two diners. Then I don't know if you can really have a social outing with that kind of a distance.
How do you eat?
Okay, but now I'm coming to the main point. While there'll be lots of capital infusion, the only way for the industry to survive or just live through this day is one single word. You have to cut down all your operating expenses. And I mean that in every seriousness for every word I'm speaking. Please be very clear. Business in the post-COVID era cannot be done on the terms, commercial terms of engagement you had in the pre-COVID era. And every stakeholder, be it your customer, they may end up paying a little more than what they are paying today. Be it your employees, they may have to probably multitask. Your corporate office needs to be shortened.
Yeah.
Be it your landlords, be it your aggregators, everyone will have to realign their commercial understanding. If not, this industry can never survive. And I say that in all seriousness, I mean it. It is not about one part of the business trying to profiteer at the cost of another one. Absolutely not. This is, if I have to put it in a nice word, it's like a collective effort to make sure that the business itself doesn't die. Please understand, a mall may be a huge capital intensive business, but end of the day, it's like difference is like makan or ghar na. वो मकान बना सकते हैं, घर बनाने के लिए हम जैसे लोग चाहिए, और हम तभी वहां रह सकते हैं when the terms of engagement can be supported by the business. If you have a little time, I can give a quick 1 minute math on this.
Sure.
Do we have time? Okay.
Yeah, sure.
So let's say today we do a business of 100 rupees and roughly 30 rupees is our cost of sales.
Yeah.
That means my gross margin at the business is 70 rupees. Now I will come to the other aspect of profitability. And in a good case scenario, probably our industry operates at 15% EBITDA, which means 70 minus 15, 55 rupees is your fixed expenses today. Park this aside for a second. Now imagine a post-COVID scenario where your business is, let's say, 50% of what it used to be, which means on 50 rupees against 100, your gross margin will be 35 rupees. 30% has gone into the cost. Now, please tell me, how do you bridge the gap between 35 rupees of margin and 55 rupees of expenses that occur? Unless you have the ability and brainlessness of funding 40% of losses, that is 20 rupees for every 50 rupees served, great for you. But otherwise, you have to bridge the gap. And there is very little you can do to improve the margins in the business. There is very little you can do. And if I have to extrapolate the same thing into the delivery, it is even worse, because there comes the commission.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're talking about 40% cost of sales between, including the packaging cost, and another say 20% to these guys, you're operating on 40%. It cannot work. Simple, as simple as that. And that is where I think time has come for our industry to take control of the business in our own hands. We need to reduce our dependence on these, if I can call digital landlords, somebody coined the word. They are literally controlling every aspect of the business. Think of it, what is a e-commerce platform supposed to be? It is supposed to be a neutral platform where buyer and seller can come together and do a transaction at their own free will. But what is the reality today in this business? The reality is, sorry, I think something has come on my, okay. The reality today.
What's come up is that there was a poll being run which said, what do you think is this platonic shift, or it is temporary or permanent?
It's a huge paradigm shift overall. I don't know.
Yeah, 74% respondents say it is temporary. They're all hoping for the best. Like
just to add to Anurag's point, I think we all company, irrespective of how old that company, has to get into the startup. Imagine the first day when you had very little capital and you wanted to grow your business. You were very bootstrapped and you had to think global. I think the times have come when we want to reinvent everything that we've done. Think about and think through everything that you've done in the past, right from your cost lines to how do you, and as Anurag rightly mentioned, on your office setup, on a lot of other things, on the store sizes, on the kind of designs that you have, and on so many other capital expenditures that you do. So I think that is the time when bootstrapping would help a lot of F&B people to come out of this.
So I'll like to just add to what I was saying. End of the day, we need to become a little self-reliant. We cannot be dependent on these aggregators to call the shots on every front. I'm not saying that you can replace them completely, but you need a better platform. Please understand, if the business owner cannot decide the discount that he wants to offer, if he cannot decide what commission he offers for using a platform, and if he is deprived of his right to know the details of his consumers, then there is something wrong with our policies. And these policies need to change. And at the same time, NRAI is coming up with its own platform, which will be helping all us entrepreneurs in the industry to come to better terms of engagement. And I think we are doing a town hall day after tomorrow, or tomorrow, sorry. Tomorrow. So I request all the listeners who are there, may please join us on the town hall. It's a very, very important announcement that we are going to make.
Okay. We'll definitely join in, Anurag. Always a pleasure listening to you. There are a lot of questions coming in, and I would love all of those to be answered, but I'll just take the liberty of picking ones that I see and open to all, whoever wants to step in. This one, I think Miraj and Shriram would be best to answer this. In malls, by Mr. Randeep Chawla, in malls, food court have kitchens one next to other and have one entry for all. How will this pattern change?
The entry and exit for, I think, every kitchen is separate. There's a separate service corridor, but the entry and exit for every kitchen is separate. Actually, and I think the need of the hour going forward would be transparency, would be live kitchens. Like I said, jo dikhta hai, wo bikta hai, and either you live stream, no matter how much you talk about live streaming your kitchen and cameras, that's not going to work. People want to see the physical thing live. So we all have to rework our kitchens. At Wow Momo, at least all the kitchens are live. You can see the momo being prepared. You can see the Domino's pizza being prepared, how he makes the dough, how he gets it in. I think going forward, you'll see a lot of transparency, and that transparency, that pressure that koi mere ko dekh raha hai will ensure that hygiene is maintained. That's good for the industry.
I would like to add on this because I think the question is related to the service corridor which runs behind the kitchen areas. I think eventually there would be a little bit of a size which would be foreseen. Also, there would be at the entrance point there would be a sanitization check which would follow now on and would be manned by the food court operators.
Okay, Miraj, your experience, your take.
As Sagar said, basically all the kitchen is separated, different exit and entry for the kitchen. Only the common area is where people are passing through. So that area will be same as Shriram said, sanitization or this part will cover it up. But the kitchen, as of now, everything is separated in every areas. And when it comes to IRCTC, we even started placing TVs in every outlet, in front of the outlet, where people can actually see the kitchen, whatever happening inside the kitchen, bypassing that area. So the TV is placed in front of the outlet where people can actually see inside the kitchen through the TV.
I think
that's
going
how
forward,
we are trying.
I think going forward, malls will become more cautious. Any employee, any guy working in a mall, he would not be allowed entry into the mall as you have a temperature. Yeah. There'll be temperature checks for customers, forget employees, So I think there's a lot of caution that's going to come in. Like I said, surveillance around hygiene and health will come in.
Okay. And Umesh, do you think that we are just being far too cautious, and the moment lockdown is lifted, we might see a kilometer-long queue outside Haldiram's, where we say we've had enough of lockdown, let's go and have our puri chole, and then let's grab Domino's, and again people are running.
I would love that. At the same time, if I'm not able to give a lot of food for thought to the media, I would love to have the long queue outside. But at the same time, yes. Honestly, regarding the entire subject that we are discussing regarding the safety going forward, what examples that I personally have seen in my past 17 years I can share is like that, we as a concept always served Golgappe in a very different way compared to what you are used to having in the street. So, from the past 17 years before COVID, I was always, asked the question, why and what is the fun of having Golgappes in this way? So now, I literally have an answer saying this thing, that this is about all, about the hygiene that you're supposed to give it to the people. Everything is, packed in such a way that, yes, it is going to come to you in a very hygienic manner, and you are the one responsible to have it. And at the same time, secondly, like, mentioned by Sagar as well, kitchens which are more transparent, people tend to see and question and voice their opinion regarding the hygiene as well there and then. If they see that they are confident of what they are getting, they feel very proud of it. If they don't see what they're getting, they're very, very confused about the hygiene and the quality of the thing that they're getting. So that is going to be the way forward for the kitchens, and that has been the recent example for us as well. In a mall we opened recently, and our kitchen was completely live, and the operator came to us and questioned us that why is it supposed to be live? Everyone is operating with a wall in between and a window and serving the food in the same manner. Why do you have to keep it open? So at that point of time, I told him that the food which is prepared, the confidence of consumer to see food prepared is immensely high compared to coming it from a dark kitchen. So that is going to be the way forward for everyone.
This.
And
this will require.
I want one point to come in
Anurag
here.
First, one could see Anurag's fingers literally itching to step in. And
no, just wanted to tell you, while I have had a open plan kitchen for 10 years now. It requires a big change in law of fire in Mumbai, at least.
Right.
The current Mumbai laws very clearly tell you there has to be a wall and a fire-resistant door between food production and service area, even in QSR. I think it's a move that has to come. But unless that comes, this will still remain a bit
I think they also have a glass that avoids fire from.
Yeah, so fire retardant glass.
Fire retardant glass. No, but I want to add something here. What Umesh was saying, like he mentioned, one of the mall developers told him कि बीच में आप एक wall डालो. These mall developers, when it comes to an international brand, they allow them to do whatever they feel like. When it comes to Indian brands, they only want to restrict. They should support Indian brands more and ensure that they become national and they go global. So if the mall developers are listening, which I hope they're listening, when it comes to AIRG, हम Indian brands को आप support करो, allow us to do what we want to do. At least at Wow Momo and Haldiram, I'm sure, because we have multiple stores now, we are able to do that. But for the smaller brands, I really feel for them. They say design है, ये है, वो है. आप इंटरनेशनल ब्रांड्स को तो बोलते नहीं हो, उनकी साइनेज जितनी बड़ी बड़ी रहती है उनको करने देते हो, जबकि आपको जैसे मोदी जी ने कहा go local, go vocal, वो करने दो हमको.
Shriram,
self-reliant. Sagar, I'm the only developer here on the forum, so I'll take the liberty of responding. Point well taken, bro. Point well taken.
No, I think the mantra is global.
Viraj should say something about it, because we've put a lot of effort in putting the services in his food court. How he has accommodated all of them together, keeping the services in mind and keeping everything in common.
Okay, we have a lot of questions, and I think I'm sorry, I won't. Sincere apologies, won't be able to take all of them, but we'll just like a final word from all of you, your thoughts going forward, and just put those across in the form of question. So if you could, your final thoughts. Anurag, when you do your next seminar with any of the next webinar or talk, just to let you know, there are a lot of concerns regarding going forward with rents, going forward with partnerships. Do take that up as a separate topic in itself. So that is one suggestion for you. All the questions we've got is people are asking Anurag, what is he doing in terms of the way going forward? But that can be a separate topic in itself. But here, we'll start with Miraz first. Travel. When do we start traveling? How soon we start traveling? Travel, retail, food business. Going forward, what is there in your mind? Your final words on that.
See, as for me, in my industry, as of now, in Indian Railway, we have already started. The trains have already started, special trains have started as of now. And there is passengers also, around 70% occupancy, you can say. But people are started moving it within next 10 days. another 20 or 30 sets of train is starting up. So stage by stage, even we have got a call from railway saying that all the static units, at least PAD counters where you have the soft drinks and all this normal packet foods can be started selling in the stations. So I feel it is going to happen within less than 1 month time. It will be a small start, but within 3 months we'll go on a full-fledged.
Okay, within 3 months you think you'll be going full-fledged?
In railways.
Okay, Akash?
Yeah, I think some very important word that I would want to reinforce here is you have to build trust with your people. I think very, very important in these times when people are really uncertain whether they want to dine out or whether they want to even call for food at home. How do you make an environment which is conducive for their thought process to evolve to a level where they're very comfortable as they would possibly have with their home cooked food? I think the other thing would be transparency, as Sagar also rightly mentioned and shared by Anurag as well. You need to be very transparent to your consumers, and with live kitchens and all, people should be able to figure out what is being cooked. So your plate and the kitchen have to talk to each other. I think the third word, and I'm very fond of it, is being frugal and bootstrapped. The times like these also call for changes in the entire structure, right from the stores to everything, to make sure that you are able to tide through the crisis. If you are unable to do that, then you have a problem at hand. And the other, you put a very honest effort in terms of your consumer, your employees, to make sure that you create the right environment, even for your employee to come to your store, to make sure that your policy reflect of the larger ethos. The virus may be here for a year or so. We may have to live with it for 2-3 years. I don't know. I don't have the answer. The only thing that I know is that I have to overcome it.
Okay. Sagar?
Well, I'll add some tarka to since it's the food topic, I'll add some tarka to end this. The question that people are asking about rent, I'll answer it in one line. We are not giving any choice to the landlords. We are not giving them any choice. अगर लॉकडाउन है, अगर हमारा धंधा बंद है, it's like a force major. We cannot pay you rental. I hope all developers are listening. आप हमारे को एक इनवॉइस काट के दे सकते हो कि भाई पे कर दो. हम क्या इनवॉइस काट के रास्ते में जाके किसको बेचे मोमो? कौन लेगा हमारा इनवॉइस? कोई लेगा नहीं. हम तो फिर भी आपका इनवॉइस रिसीव कर रहे हैं. So I mean, you can do that entire session on rentals with Anurag and we can take it up. But honestly speaking, these are tough times. I think it's not a developer versus a retailer or a developer versus a food player. I think we all have to be partners. I think it's the developer versus, developer, retailer, the banks and the government have to come at large. I think till now, the self-reliance that Modi ji spoke about has not yet shown. I think we've had 2 sessions with the finance minister. We are still keeping our fingers crossed. But tough times here. I think we all have to sit across the table. We have to come to a mutual solution. And I'm sure as partners, both brands and developers will find a way out, because ultimately we both require one another for retail to go on, for the fraternity to go on. So I'll end it there with some tarka, with some controversy.
Shriram?
I think spreading awareness of hygiene and safety is something that we need to look at it, to bring back the confidence of the customer. And at the end of the day, we are all together in this. We cannot shy away from the situation, and we must look at a hand-holding rather than different ways of thinking.
Okay. And Umesh, going forward, when do you think all of us are sitting together again at Haldiram's, enjoying our favorite Chola Bhatura? What's the timeline in mind? What's the thought process on that?
So sitting together is, I think, going to take a little time, because I think even with a 1.5 meter distance, it is not going to be a together feeling when you're sitting in Haldiram's. So together is going to happen, I think, after another quarter, which probably should happen after July. Most probably, hopefully, let's say, everything falls in place. And to sum it up, for my opinion, what is going to be happening and what should happen is that everyone is in this together. Everyone is into pain. Somebody's pain or somebody is into less pain, that is not the concern. The concern is everyone is into pain. And we all have to handhold each other to make sure that we come out of each other together and stronger. And to be very honest, आज की डेट में ये कोई मतलब there is no limitation on saying this thing that जान रहेगी तो कमा फिर भी लेंगे. जब जान ही नहीं रहेगी तो कमाएंगे क्या?
Exactly.
So let's not only see everything from the financial perspective. Let's see everything on the broader perspective. How exactly we want to take it further. The
Absolutely.
future.
Yeah.
The future
very
is
important.
what is important. So right now, fighting and getting into something is not going to give you value. Rather than standing by the side of the person and ultimately achieving that broader goal with him is going to give you a value for the longer run.
Perfect. Anurag, please sum it up for us. No better than you to sum it up for us.
Well, thank you. I don't know, what does that mean, that I talk a lot? Okay.
No.
No. Okay. So let me put it like this.
Yeah.
I think
you are the president NRAI. You have to speak for all of us.
Yeah.
Thank you. So let me tell you, I am very, very clear that eating out is still one of the most joyful activities that we Indians love to undertake. And I don't think it is gonna go anywhere else. We as restaurateurs it is incumbent upon us to ensure that we give enough comfort to our consumers, our guests, to come back soon and come back more often. Now, this is vis-a-vis what the consumers are going to have. But in order to do that, we need to ensure that we are alive. And to remain alive, we need to make sure that all the business metrics are aligned to the current realities. And it is not only restricted to a landlord. I know it's a very hot subject. It is also to do with the government, whether it is about input tax credit on GST or a better e-commerce policy. It is with the aggregators for better terms of engagement with everyone. This will ensure that we are alive to live on, and fight another day. And this is one of the most unprecedented crises that we have seen, the mankind has ever seen. Nobody has any experience. We cannot draw any inference or learning from the past. So we need to work every day, observe things every day, learn from it, make corrections, and make sure that eventually we give that enticement and the sense of security to our consumers. Come back and eat. As I said at the onset, eating out is not going to go out of fashion anytime soon, unless there is a drug which comes for that. So on that note, I shall end this conversation.
Thank you so much. That was rightly put. I mean, eating out is not going out of fashion anywhere, anytime soon. Just a temporary detour, let's call it.
Yeah.
And we'll be back to the way we were happily dining at our favorite restaurants, favorite brands, really enjoying it. Of course, following all the social distancing norms.
The outlines of the business may change, but the business will remain.
Absolutely. And just behavioral change on our part. I mean, we will incorporate all the social distancing norms. We'll follow particular hygiene practices that are needed. And thank you so much, all of you. Rehan is with us.
Thank you, Amin. Thank you, everyone, for your valuable time and a lot of deep insight. I'm sure it has given a lot of pointers to all our viewers. And on that note, I'll thank all the viewers as well for tuning in. Keep tuned for the series. We will be doing more, and we'll keep you posted as soon as we figure out our next webinar. Zafar, anything you would like to say before we call it a day?
It was indeed an excellent session, very insightful, knowledgeable session. I think people want to hear more and more. We have many pending questions. Probably we can't answer all those within a limited time. Maybe we can have a separate question answer session or town hall in the coming webinar. Thank you so much, everybody.
I'm sure we can post it on
all the participants. Thank you, all the panelists. And I request all of you, those who could not join us live, they can see us on our YouTube channel, Facebook channel.
Yeah, what I suggested, Shriram and Akash can individually answer a lot of questions.
Yeah,
absolutely.
So that's so Zafar bhai, I think we spoke about a lot of food, and I'm sure Umesh would be able to serve us chola bhatura and the golgappas. A lot of. I don't know about the other viewers, Nurag or Niraj or anything.
I'm sure. I mean, we would love to see Domino's go local now.
That's true. Yeah.
I just want chola bhatura right now.
With this note, I would like to end this session. Thank you so much, everybody. Do share
you
your
so much.
feedback.
Thank
Do
you.
write us, on care@retail.co.in. You can visit our website www.retail.co.in. RETALA. Thank you so much, everybody. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so
Bye.
much. Thank you.
Bye. Bye.